it's next week, Wednesday. Okay. So for those joining us now, I haven't said hi to Latabo. I haven't said hi to Kyle. Hello, and Kamal is with us as well. Hi, Kamal. It's nice to see you guys all again. So let's get started. I want to quickly. Okay, now that our lesson has started, I want to remind you guys to please keep the chat box work related. Okay, we're going to start now. So it was nice chatting to you a bit earlier, just hearing how you guys are. But now we have some nice math time. So you can ask me a question anytime. Remember, just write question and then what you want to ask me. And then if you don't understand something, please feel free to just say, ma'am, I don't understand. Okay. So are we ready for our productive math session today? I think we are, so let's go. Just for those new familiar new names that has joined us, welcome. I hope you are going to have a lovely 45 minutes with me. I am going to teach you grade 10 maths, and my name is Shantay Groenewald. Okay. At the end of this lesson, what will you know? You will know some equations and inequalities for those who's just joined. Yesterday, we did some equations and inequalities, but we weren't able to finish that. So I'm not going to rush it. We're going to go through inequalities specifically, and we're going through simultaneous equations as well. After we've done that, we're going to do one of my favorite topics, factorization. Okay. For those who's asked, like I said yesterday, I asked your input to say, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to focus on before we start with term two's work? And they said there was a big we wanted to do equations and inequalities. We wanted to do factorization, trig definitely, and then I got a lot of requests for analytical geometry. So that is what we will be doing. We'll be doing trig on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll quickly touch on analytical geometry, and then we will start with some new work, okay? I also got some requests for finances, and that is part of our second term work, so we'll most definitely get to that as well. Just a reminder that if there's any questions you have, please go to www.africateengeeks.co.za because they are the awesome platform that provided this. Okay. Now, let's get back to where we were yesterday. Okay. So we looked at linear inequalities. And we said, and I remember I told you guys that you should actually look at it exactly like linear equations. Okay, we should think that it's just that don't think of the bigger or the greater than or the less than sign. Just think that it is a normal equal sign. Okay, and then the only thing that's going to change is if I divide or multiply with a minus, the sign's going to change the direction. Okay, but otherwise everything is going to stay the same. Let's go through it slowly. Okay. So for all linear equations, there is a maximum of one solution. So remember yesterday we said, I'm just recapping a bit, we said we instead of saying solve x plus 3 is equal to 10, we're going to say can x plus 3 be equal to 10? And then the answer would be yes, if x is equal to 7. Okay, but now what changes a bit with linear inequalities is that it can be greater than 7 or less than 7. Okay, equal to or less than 7. Okay, so that's all that changes. Okay, so there's can be more than one answer. If you look at our illustration here, our answer is obviously greater than 7 here. So that's how it looks. Okay, and here it is equal to or less than 7. A thing that you should keep in mind, and this is also something I would write down, just to remember, when we use a square bracket, look at the square bracket I'm using here, okay? That means I'm including the 7. Can you see that I am saying that it's smaller, it's less than 7 or equal to 7? So therefore, if I write it like this, that means that I am including the 7, okay? The round bracket excludes the 7, okay? Here it says anything greater than 7, so anything more than 7, not 7, anything greater than 7, okay? So therefore, we go to 7 and then to infinity. Can you see that here it says, please note that if we use an infinity sign, whether it's a plus or a negative infinity, it can never be included. So we always use round brackets, okay? Then I also asked you to quickly take a photo for those who are new. These are little nice summaries for you that you can paste in your book. It is super helpful when you study. Okay, now let's quickly do 4.4. Yesterday, I asked you to do number 6. Today, I want you to retry number 6. For those who has already tried number 6, I want you then to try number 7. Okay, so for exercise 4.4, let's quickly start. And with that I told you yesterday and that I told you today, keep that in mind. And then try 6 and try 7. And then we'll quickly mark after you've done it. Thank you, Michaela. Hi, Talita. Okay, I'm just going to write here exercise 4.4, and I want you to do number 6 and number 7. Okay. Okay. Aaron, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm not sure. Usually we give it to the person in charge and they upload it for you. So I'm sure you will be able to get this. You know what I will do? I'm going to follow up on that question. And Monday, I want to see you back and then I will give you a response to that. Okay. That's fine. You don't need the textbook. Miss P, I'll be with you just now. You don't need the textbook. That's why I'm giving it to you. You guys can see it. You can work from here. You don't need the textbook, but I will put it up. I'll follow up on that and then I will put it up wherever needed and give feedback. Hi, Oli. It's the first time I see you again. Okay. So can you see that number 6, Miss P, to answer your question, this doesn't mean equal to, but 7 does. Look there. It says greater than or equal to. Okay, so I need to find a solution. Guys, those who have just joined, let's quickly look at 6 together. What's my first step going to be? My first step will be to times this 5 in. So I'm going to say 5. What is 5 times 2x? It's going to be 10x, right? And what's going to be 5 times minus 1? It's going to be minus 5. Remember yesterday I said we want to get the x term on the left side and we want to get our numbers on the right side. Okay? So when I do that, Then I get one number here, and then I want to get x alone. So that would be my second step. Try and get x alone for me. You'll see taking it over doesn't change the sign. But if I times it by a minus on here, or when I divide it with a minus, then this changes, okay? But not me taking over it. That minus 1 will, that minus 5 will then just go over and change to a plus. Okay. So Ms. P, are you fine with this? Do they mean equal to? Okay. It seems as everyone is done. Okay, you got it, girl. Good job. Okay, let's quickly mark. Are we ready to mark? Okay. Okay. So we saw that, you remember I told you just now, so how we do number 6 is we're going to say step 1 is I'm going to times this in. Okay, so there we get that answer. Step 2 is I'm going to take all the terms to the same side. So my what I want to be able to accomplish is to get my x alone. So how do I do that? Okay, I'm just going to say this minus 5, I'm going to take over. It's going to become 40. Then what I want to do next is I want to get this x alone. So I'm going to divide by 10. What I do on this side, remember, I have to do on that side. So therefore, x is equal to 4. Okay, did you get that? Let's see. No. Okay, so Letabo asks me, ma'am, did we have to draw those lines? No, you don't. It's just to show you. Okay, they did ask that, but I didn't ask it now. Okay, so they did ask to draw the line, but I just asked you to get X for me. Hallo Emma, dis lekker om jou weer te sien. Okay. Talita says she sees a mistake. Hi Savannah, it's nice to see you. Yes, you can see it. Do you see it? Nokti. Great job. Okay, let's move on to number 7. So what would I do first? Don't just start off marking, just quickly listen up. My first step would be to do the exact same thing that I did with 6, okay? I want to times this 2 into the bracket to get the bracket away, okay? So what am I going to do? I'm going to say 2 times 9 is going to be 18. And then I'm going to say 2 times minus x. Remember the sign? So it's going to be 2x. Okay. Then I'm done with the bracket. The bracket is gone. So I'm happy. Okay. What would be my next step? Exactly like here. All I do is I get my one term on the left side and I get my numbers on the right side. So therefore I have a minus 12 and a minus 6. Now here is where this comes in. Quickly note. It says note. Follow all principles and logic as for linear equations. Like I said, you make as if it's an equal sign. We don't think differently, okay? But the less than sign changes to a greater than sign and vice versa when we are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Okay, can you see that when I divide this minus to get to the x alone, I have to divide with a minus 6. When I do that, can you see that automatically my sign is going to change? So it's going to change from greater than and equal to minus 12 to less than or equal to 2, okay, or 12, okay? So what I would do is first change the sign and then do the math, okay? Remember that. So why is this sign now changed? Because it's the rule says when I divide with a minus, then I need to change my sign, okay? My sign just changes direction. Okay, are you happy with that? Okay, so quickly to address this, Emma, dis 'n minus. Okay, dis minus 6 en minus 12. I have a good question here with Miss P that says, so ma'am, the sign only changes in that situation. Yes. Okay. So that's exactly the reason why I chose number 6 and why I chose number 7. Can you see that when I want to in my number 6, I want my 10 alone, right? So therefore I divide it by 10 on both sides. But can you see the sign doesn't change because here's not a minus in front, right? But here, if I want to get the x alone, I have to divide by minus 6. And the rule says whenever you are dividing by a negative number, you have to change the sign. Okay, you have to change the direction of the sign. So that's the exact reason why I chose 6 and 7, to show you the difference. Here, if I want to get x alone, I have to divide with a minus, and therefore that sign has to change. Okay. Okay. Galaxy J1, what's your name? Ashanda, she's asking if my x can stay on the right side. That's perfectly fine. You must just make sure that when you write this interval notation and when you draw the line, that it still means the same, okay? So it still had to read from, if your x was on this side, it still had to read that the x was smaller or equal to 2. Okay, Nocti, your sign changes the direction if you divide, yes, or when you multiply with a minus, okay, with a negative. So when you divide, yes, and when you multiply. Carolina, that's a nice name. Okay, so did I answer your questions, Carolina? Okay, great job. Okay, now let's go on to interval notation and solving x. Okay, so here all we have is two, like we have an x plus 1 and then we have something on both sides. Now remember what I told you, that what I do on this side I have to do on that side. Nothing changes. Okay, I spoke to you guys about here. So if I divide here with a minus 6, I have to do it on the side. Nothing changes when we go here. So nothing, it's not difficult at all. It's exactly the same. It's just now we have two sides. So what I do on this side, I have to do on that side. So if I want to take this 3 over and it becomes minus 3, I have to also minus the 3 on that side. Okay, so what I do on this side, I have to do on that side. Okay, let me just see. Exercise 5.4. In exercise 5.4, I quickly want you to just do number 1 for me. Quickly do number 1, please. Oops. Sorry there, Tyler. I wrote this to you privately. I meant to write it to the group. Yes, Zalnay. So Zalnay says, so if the number is positive, the sign doesn't change. And when it's negative, the sign does change. Yes, Zalnay, you are perfectly correct. But only when I divide with a negative and if I multiply with a negative. Okay, so that's very important. Not when it's just plus or minus. Okay. When we have two unknown values, I think it's Talita, right? Um, we are going to do that just now. So that's going to be part of our simultaneous linear equations. Hi, Vanessa. It's nice to see you too. Vanessa asks, does it matter that the interval notation brackets, the one is a round bracket and the other one is a square bracket? I'm going to answer you just now. Okay, I think I answered everyone else. Vanessa, quickly look here. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to take it up for a second. I'm going to quickly show Vanessa something. Vanessa, have a look here. Here it says the square bracket means that you are including the value and the round bracket means that you are excluding the value. Okay, so what I said earlier is if I have x is less than or equal to 7, that means that I am including 7. But they also say that you should please take note that when I have a plus or a minus infinity, it always has to be a round bracket. So that's something you can quickly take a photo of. Please write it down to make sure that you know it. So if we look at the top, the next one here, it says x is greater than 7. So what does that mean? I have to use the round bracket. So yes, it really does matter because that means that it's anything bigger than 7. It's not 7, it's bigger than 7. So it's 8 and 9 and 10 and all those other numbers, not 7. So therefore, I have to show that it's a round bracket. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's go back. Sorry, guys. Let's go back to exercise 4.5, number 1. So Ashanda says she doesn't understand this one. Karabo says he's not sure. Let's do it together. Okay, so it seems as if everyone's a bit unsure of this one. So let's quickly look at the solution and we see if we understand or not. Okay, so look at question 1. Let's see the answer. Let's see if we get it right. Okay, so I want you to just take your finger and put it on top of that greater than or equal to -2 sign. So if I then close it up, if I close it up and I just look at, I want you to look at as if it was two separate sums, not two different sums, two separate sums. Okay, so now let's just look at 2x minus 4 less than 2. So let's just look at that part of our question. Okay, first up, what do we do? So just look at 2x minus 4 is less than 2. Let's just look at that. Okay, so what is the first thing I'm going to do? Like we treated it normally when we did 4.4 now, I'm going to take over the 4. So it's going to become 2x and then less than 2 plus 4, okay? So then I have 6. You with me? You fine? Okay, now I have 2x is less than 6. You happy? Okay, now let's look at the second part, okay? We now need to look at minus 2 is greater or equal than 2x minus 4. That's all we look at. We don't look at the last part of this of the sum. Okay, we're just looking at that. So you can now also take your finger and make it close it. So you guys can just look at that. So what do? I need to now take the minus 4 over. Okay, so it's becoming a positive 4. So we have minus 2 plus 4. Okay, that's going to give me an answer of 4. If I zoom in a bit for you guys, I'm wondering if you can see. Can you see that there's a plus 4? So that's what they're trying to explain, and that's what I try to explain now. If you look at it as separate sums, and that's how I want you to think. You've now done linear equations. You've done linear inequalities on its own. Don't let this get overwhelming. You are going to be okay. But think of it as two separate sums. Treat 2x minus 4 as a separate one, and treat 2x minus 4 greater than minus 2 as a separate one. Okay, I want you to treat it separately, but then do the exact same. So what I would have done on this side, I'd do on that side. Okay, so let's now see. We have already added 4 because we want to take away the 4. That's our first step. Okay, our second step is still to keep x to let x stand alone. We want to have x alone. How do I do that? Let's close up let's close up the left part, and we work with the middle, which is 2x, and we work with the right, which is 6. Okay, what would I do in a normal question? I would just say, okay, I want to get x alone, so I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to say 2x divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2, and I'm going to write 3. Can you see? Nothing changes here. My signs doesn't change direction because I'm just dividing with 2. I'm not dividing with a negative 2. I'm dividing with a 2. So I'm happy. My sign stays the same. Okay. Now we've done the middle part and the right part. Now let's look at the middle part and the left part. Okay. What I do on the same thing, I want to get the 2 alone again. So what I do is I say 2x divided by 2, and 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. Okay, so if you treat it as two separate sums, can you see it becomes a bit easier. So here in our second step, they divided it by 2. They divided this whole thing by 2, and that's how they got that answer. Okay, you asking me what does this mean? It just means that it's all natural numbers. Okay, don't worry about that. You'll see they give it to you as well. Let's see. Oops, I don't know if I now went too far. See, there. It just says that x has to be a natural number. Okay, and x is a natural number. Okay, what is this me 4, me 5? Okay, you guys got it right. That's good. Okay, Takalani, it's nice to see you again. You understand now? I got it. That's good. Where does the 6 come from? Tumolo. You understand that if this minus 4 goes over the rainbow, the sign changes. So it's going to be 2 plus 4, and that's going to give my answer. Okay. You okay? Okay. Okay, you guys say you don't get this. Okay. So it has to be x has to be greater or equal to 1. So if I read x this side, can you see that it has to be greater or equal to 1? So it has to be 1. But it also has to be smaller than 3. Can you see that we are not including 3, therefore I use 2? Okay, I can't say 3 here because it's not less than or equal to 3, it's just less than 3. Now, what's the number that's less than 3? It's 2. Okay. Okay, so I think Tando, Arthur, I think we guys are, Savannah, are you okay? Just quickly indicate if you're fine. Okay, I'm getting a lot of requests to please explain the brackets, okay? These brackets, you could say, you can make square brackets, okay? So you can just say square brackets. You don't have to use these brackets. You can use square brackets. Okay, it seems like everyone understands now. So, yes, Tyler. This isn't too easy, but it's easy if you understand the simple stuff. So when it gets to a bit more complicated and I add stuff on the left side and on the right side and there's stuff in the middle now, it doesn't matter because the principle stays the same. And that's the nice thing about maths. Okay, so if you understand the basic principle, everything else works if you stay to your basics. Okay. Okay, Miss P wants to do more examples. We can if you guys want to. Let's quickly see what is good examples for you guys. Okay, it seems like everyone wants to do more examples. Okay, I don't think we're going to get to factorization. Is that fine if we do factorization? We're going to do factorization then on Monday, and then we'll do trig Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll just move the whole schedule a bit. Okay. Seems as if everyone wants to do more. Perfectly fine. That's why I'm here. Okay. Let's do 2. Let's do 2. Wait, let's do 2. Ooh, I'm not change this thing. Okay. Wait, let's see what I want you to do. Don't do 2 yet. Don't do 2 yet. Okay. Okay. Yeah, do 2 for me. Sorry. Please do number 2. And let's see if you get that. Talisa, we will not be on Zoom. We will not be on Zoom on Monday. We will be using Microsoft Teams. Okay. Microsoft Teams. Let me zoom in for you guys so you guys can see number 2. Geometry, we will do after trig. Okay.
Ma'am, can you go back because I don't understand what are we doing now? The number 1 part, I don't understand it. And the number 2 part, please help me.
Okay. What part? Karabo says she doesn't understand number 1. Am I correct? Okay, I heard Karabo, I think, talking. Karabo, can I quickly answer your question? Can you quickly talk? Can we unmute her mic, please? Okay, Karabo, can you type for me? Quickly type for me, please. Or use your mic, it's fine. Okay. It's yes. So you can just download Microsoft Teams. Okay. Can Kurt, can you quickly tell me where will the kids be able to get the link for Microsoft Teams? Number 2, please, Miss P. Cabello, I'll be with you just now. Okay. Okay, guys, so we will be using Microsoft Teams, okay? I've written it down here, Microsoft Teams, as in part of a team member, Teams, okay? The links will be on Facebook and on Twitter, okay? So the links will then be on Facebook and Twitter for you to join, and then we will be going as per usual, like normal. We will just continue, okay? And this will be for all subjects, okay? So we are moving away from Zoom to Microsoft Teams, and the links will be available on Facebook and Twitter. Yes, we can get back to maths. Okay, that sounds like a good idea. So let's quickly look at one again. I think it was Cabello. They wanted to look at number Carabo. I think Cabello and Carabo. They wanted to quickly look at number 1. So while I explain number 1, quickly mark number 2, and don't ask me questions just yet. I want to explain it. Okay. So in order to do number 1, you need to now make sure that what I do on my right side, I also do on my left side. Okay. So keep as per normal. I want you to just look at 2x minus 4 and less than 2. Okay, what would I normally do? I want to get x alone, the exact same thing with 2. I want to get x alone, so I'm going to say 2x, and I'm going to take 4 over. When I take it over the rainbow, the sign changes, okay? So it's going to come 2 plus 4, okay? Now what I do on this side, I have to do on the left side. So I'm going to take the minus 4 over. Can you see it goes over the rainbow? When it goes over the rainbow, the sign changes. So I have minus 2 plus 4, okay? Then that's why it says here plus 4. Okay, then I have 2 greater or equal than 2x less than 6. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to get x alone, so I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, I'm going to when I do on this side, I have to do on this side. So if I say divide by 2x, I'm going to get greater than 1 because it's going to be 2 divided by 2 is going to give me 1. Then I'm going to get do 6 divided by 2, I'm going to get 3. Okay, now everyone asked me, why is it 1 and 2? The answer for that is here, if you read it this way around, we have x is greater or equal to 1. So I can only be 1, can only be more than 1 and 1. And here, x has to be less than 3. So I have to say 2. Okay, let's quickly look at number 2. So what do I do? Let's start with our middle part and our right side first. Okay, I now have a plus 3 here. What do I want to do? I want to get the x alone, okay? So I'm going to take the x over. If I take it over, my sign changes. It goes over the rainbow. It's going to be 10 minus 3. It's going to be 7, okay? So can you see my sign change doesn't change because even though it becomes a minus, I'm not dividing or multiplying by a 3. Okay, I am just taking it over. What I do on this side, I have to do on that side. Okay, so now we go and we say, what is this? So it goes over the rainbow, it becomes minus 3 again. Can you see there it's minus 3? We're going to say minus 2, minus 5. Okay, guys, that means we're going to have a minus 5. Okay, what is my problem here? I want to have a positive x. Can you all see? I want to list all of your names because everyone asked me this. Can you see? What do I want to do? I want to divide by -1, right? Because this actually means that it's -1x. So to get the x alone, to get the x as a positive x, I have to to divide with a -1, okay? What I do on this here, I have to do here. What does that mean? That means it becomes -7. Okay, what I do on here, I have to do here. So I'm going to say divide by -1. So my -5 minus times a minus is a positive. Therefore, that is a positive, remember. But have a look here. Immediately change your signs. Okay, now let's stop for 1 second. Okay, in this question, before I look at your questions, it says that we want a natural number um, with 0, okay, with a little 0. That's what it says. Okay, so what does that mean? We need to go and stop at 0. We can't go that means natural numbers, but anything other than 0 we don't want. Okay, so now what this means is if we read it this way, let's read it this way. It says to me, don't know if I can do that. Okay, anyway, so if we look at it this way, we want to see x is greater then -7. Okay. Or, yes, x is greater than -7. Or we say x is smaller than 5. Can you see that they don't want me to have any negatives? They want me to stop at 0. This little n0 tells me, hi, red flag, stop at 0. This is a tricky question. So, do I look at this then? No, I don't. Okay, so I only look at this. So, my timeline will then be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 because it says natural numbers. Okay, it doesn't say all the numbers that 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 1, 2. It's just 1, 2 natural numbers, counting numbers. Okay, and then I stop at 1. Let's see your questions. Okay, I zoomed a bit for you guys. Did this help? All they did is they showed you that you could have written it this way or that way. Okay, it doesn't matter. Um, it doesn't matter which you won't lose marks if you didn't write this. Someone's asking me why is it like almost a euro sign instead of and not an equal sign? That's just how the mathematicians work. Okay. Thank you, Kyle. Okay. Okay. Look, Nokti, you asking me why did the 7 and the 5 exchange places? I think you are referring to this last step. They did change places, but then the signs also changed. So just have a look. Can you see? So you can leave it like this, or you can write it like that. But then if you want to write it like this, then your sign also needs to change. They just wrote it like this because this is a better way of reading math. For instance, this makes sense. This makes more sense to say x. If you look at a timeline perspective, the -7 goes this way, right? And the 5 goes that way. So that's why they wrote it like that. Okay, Nelly says she kind of understands. I'm happy. I can explain it to you one more time. Do you want me to explain it to me? Just type yes or no. Okay, let's quickly explain it again. Before we go, let's quickly explain it again. So then we'll move on Monday. We'll quickly look at simultaneous linear equations, and then we'll do factorization. So that is for Monday. Monday, we will then do simultaneous linear equations as well as factorization. Before we go, let's quickly look at number 2 again, okay? So have a look and please take your hand and take it over the -2, the greater than -2 sign. So I want you to just look at -x plus 3 less than 10. That's all I want you to look at, okay? Think like the normal linear inequalities. What would I do? First of all, I want to get x alone. How do I get x alone? I'm going to take the 3 over, so it's going to become 10 minus 3. That's how they get to the 7. Okay, you with me? Okay, now take away your hand from the -2 and put it over the greater than 10 sign. So now we're only looking at the left parts and the middle parts of the sum. Okay, we want to get the x alone again. So I'm going to say minus x and I'm going to take plus 3 over, okay, and it's going to become -2 -3 because it changes the sign. Therefore, they have that -5. Okay, that's why you can see there that our first little step is to -3. Okay, now what do I want to do? I want to get my x. My x is alone, so I'm happy. But now my x is a negative. I don't want a negative x. I want a positive x. Okay, so what do I do? I now need it to make it a positive. How do I make my negative x a positive? I'm going to divide with a minus. Okay, so I'm going to say minus x divide by -1. Okay, so what I do on in my middle, I have to do on my right side. So I'm going to say 7 divided by -1. It's going to be -7. Okay, the same I'm going to do on my left. So I'm going to say minus x divided by -1, and that's going to give me my x, which is in the middle, which I'm happy because my x is positive. But now I'm going to say -5 divided by -1. So that means that I have a 5 because a minus divided by minus gives me a positive. Okay. And remember, just look at the signs. Now let's quickly go up again. They say, whenever you are dividing with a negative number, you have to change your signs. So therefore, I change it. Okay. Okay, guys, we are done. I hope everyone understands. Miss B says she understands perfectly. I'm glad this was a great lesson, and I really am happy you understand me. I'm glad, Talita. I'm glad, Letabo. That's perfect. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Nelly. You are a math genius, Nelly. Good. Okay, Kamal. Okay, Erin. Pleasure, Savannah. Okay, so you guys are more than welcome to leave. I hope to see you on Monday. Then we'll quickly chat about simultaneous linear equations and tackle factorization. Bye, everybody.